dear. Greetings and welcome, people. This is the first time I've been out on the bike since I recorded the last video that I uploaded. As basically, as most people know, the weather has been awful pretty much non-stop since then. And as well as that, this area has been plagued, as I'm sure many other areas have as well, with road closures and roadworks. Basically, any video I would have recorded in the last few weeks would have A, been washed out on the camera lens by the rain, and B, probably most of it spent just sitting in a queue of traffic. Admittedly at the front of the queue of traffic, but still just sitting in traffic. Don't know why that was flashing at me. It's a 40 limit. I was doing 40. Yes. So the last video was recorded at the end of January. We are now at the end of the first week in April. So February, March. So about 2.5 months. Getting on for. Not very good. Not very good at all. I'm hoping things will improve. I think after today we're back to the rain again, but I'm hoping things will pick up after that. So a few minor talking points. I don't know whether any of you noticed, but I noticed when I had a quick look at the number of views on that last video. Yes, I'm sad and I like to make myself depressed by looking at my low number of views, but thank you to those of you who did go and look at that video. It's much appreciated. It wasn't too bad for one of my videos. I've had better, I've had worse. But I was looking at the thumbnail on my YouTube video management screen, and I noticed something a little bit interesting, shall we say. Not remarkable, not exciting, just, oh, I hadn't realised that. That video was my first video of 2024, and if you look at the runtime of the video, it says it is 20 minutes and 24 seconds. Yes, and I absolutely promise you that was sheer accident and or coincidence. Basically that was a one take video. I didn't cut anything out. It was basically start to finish was the videos, obviously 2 video streams from the 2 cameras. Excuse me. And I basically just trimmed the video at the beginning to about 10 or 15 seconds before I started talking, as I normally do. And I trimmed it at the end. I decided I would stop it when I got to that, excuse me, I say. And again, excuse me. When I got to that roundabout on the dual carriageway road that I was riding along, I thought might as well stop it there. I'm coming to a near stop on the roundabout, at the roundabout, that'll do. And yes, like I say, I absolutely promise you that was not deliberately trimmed or edited to fit to 2024. So yeah, I was quite surprised at that. Quite a coincidence. Another little topicette, if you want to call it that. Let's call it that, topicette, little topic. In that video I was using the little round microphone that came with the Sena Prism Tube Wi-Fi camera that I use on my helmet, and as you could tell, the audio was not great. I've seen other YouTubers put microphones in all sorts of odd places in their crash helmets, up on the side cheek pad where I had mine, up at the top of the visor opening, all sorts of places, and they seem to get very good very good audio. But I obviously was not happy. I don't know whether it's the microphone or what. Well, I'm assuming it was the microphone, because what I decided to do was to find a Sena boom mic that would work with this Prism Tube Wi-Fi camera, and I found one. I think it was a boom mic for the 10R. I think it fits some other cameras as well. Oh, let me shut the window. Because Sena don't sell a boom mic specifically for this camera, but the one that I found has the same connector as the little button mic that they provide with the camera, and so I have installed that in my crash helmet. I did a quick static test at home, just stuck the helmet on, connected up the camera and the microphone, and just sat on the settee and just did a quick bit of test narration to the camera, and it came out okay. Obviously that's not a test of the microphone in the real world, as I am doing now, so let's hope this comes out okay. If it does, I will be in two minds as to whether I bother to get a Bluetooth headset to fit into this helmet. Obviously without the Bluetooth headset I can't connect to my phone, but to be fair, I can't think of more than one or two occasions in all the time that I've had a Bluetooth headset in a crash helmet where I've actually needed to use it. I very rarely get calls when I'm out riding. I very rarely get calls on my phone at all. Yes, I'm a proper sad Billy No Mates, but that's the way it is. So if I don't need to spend £100 or so on a Bluetooth headset just to basically record my commentary as I'm riding, then I won't do it. But that remains to be seen. We'll see how this goes. Basically I've got the boom mic sitting behind the side of the visor jaw piece. It's not directly in front of my mouth. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that tends to get a lot more... Oh god, they've still got bloody flooding here, Jesus. Well, I say flooding, there's obviously something going on there, but it's I thought they would have fixed that by now. It's been 2.5 months since I last rode through that. So anyway, yeah, trying out this microphone. It only cost me £10. I think it was £10. I'll double check that. And yeah, if this is working, then great. It's probably job done. And the other thing is I am going to put another camera mount on the front of the bike up here on the top of the fairing. I'm going to move the camera from that position, maybe not specifically that camera, or not at first anyway, to the top of the middle of the fairing. Basically I think that position there on the handlebar mount, which is quite good for stability, is a bit too low. I think that position is a bit too low. It tends to be looking up at me, and it tends to get a lot of the sky. And obviously, on a sunny day, the sky is quite bright. And it tends to pin down the exposure quite a bit. So sometimes in some of the video, I basically just look like a silhouette of a head and shoulders. And I think if I move the camera up there, where it's looking more back at me rather than up, hopefully it'll eliminate some of the sky and the exposure won't be struggling quite so much. I do have a camera mount to go there. It's an adhesive one, obviously. I don't really want to drill the screen. But one thing that concerns me is that the fairing has a lot more flex to it, especially going over bumps, than the handlebars do. The handlebars are really quite solid, less prone to shocks and vibration, whereas obviously the fairing is on quite a lightweight frame and it is not solidly fixed. It's secure, but it's just not completely solid. So what I'm going to do is, I do have another camera that I used before I got the Acaso that was quite a bit cheaper, and I will experiment using that on that mount to begin with, because obviously if the mount doesn't stick or flies off halfway through a ride because I hit a bump or something, I'd rather not lose my relatively expensive Acaso Brave. I don't mind losing. The other one's called Bow Power. It's 4K capable, but I don't think it's genuine 4K. I think it's interpolated and upscaled. So if that, like I said, if that drops off, it'll be annoying, but not nearly as annoying as if the Acaso dropped off and went bouncing down the road. Oh, excuse me, getting a bit dry. Ugh. Bumped down 2 gears then rather than 1. Yeah. I thought I hadn't hit the gear shift properly. Yuck. And another thing is the bike got a new battery last year, a Motobat AGM battery, and that seems to be performing really well. Touch wood. Like I say, the bike hasn't been used an awful lot since I installed it, now and again. So basically it's been stood outside the house under a Oxford Stormex cover, and every so often I'll just stick a charger on the battery, top it up, and it seems to be holding up really well. It will be nice to be able to get out on the bike more, so I don't have to keep sticking the charger on it, but a lot will depend on how the weather goes from now on. See, okay? And oh, bit of clearance going on there. Oh, dead deer. Quite recent by the look of it as well. So yes, I think I did rather well getting that Motobat. I had been considering going for a lithium battery, but they are very expensive. I think Noco do a range of lithium batteries for bikes and garden equipment things now, and one that would be suitable for this bike, I think would be suitable, it doesn't state that it actually is compatible, but it should be, is nearly £200. And I think the good thing about it is you don't need a lithium compatible charger for it. It's got all the necessary circuitry and protections built in, so it shouldn't be damaged by using a regular car charger on it. I think as long as you don't use one of these massive types of batteries, chargers that they use in garages and workshops. You don't know where you're going, do you? Oh dear. And I must say, from the limited amount of riding time I've had, I think these Avon Spirit STs are working very well. A lot of that twitchiness has gone. I think that was partly the newness of the tyres and partly me basically having been used to riding on the old tyres, which were way past their best. They were still legal as far as riding on British roads were concerned, as far as tread depth was concerned. But I think all of us motorcyclists realise that tyres go off long before you use up all the legal tread. So I'm very happy with these Spirit STs. Andy Man can stop worrying, if he was worrying, that I might be annoyed at him for recommending these tyres. No, I second that recommendation. They are really good. And I checked the pressures before I got the bike out, obviously, as you do. And I did not have to pump them up. They've been stood for, like I say, 2.5 months. And had not dropped an ounce of air pressure, so very impressed. And as I think I said at the time when I was actually switching over to them, the Avons are one of the few tyre brands that do an 18-inch rim fitment for the back wheel of my bike. Obviously Bridgestone do one. Avon, I think that's possibly about it. I would have to check into that or speak to a bike tyre dealership, see if they know of any others, but at the moment, excuse me again, I'm, like I say, quite another flooded road, lovely, oh well. I'm very happy with them, so I think that if I need to get any more tyres for my bike, which may not be the case considering how little I ride at the moment, but if I do suddenly head off on a couple of 1,000-mile tour and burn out these tyres, then yes, I'll be happy to get some more. And they're quite a reasonable price as well. And they're a British brand, which is always good as far as I'm concerned. just quite gratifying that it's a British brand and they're good quality product. Yep, you babe a few quick blow through there. Oh, and on the topic of the front brake, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, but I have decided I will be replacing the brake discs. I do have them already and some new pads. So I think that's probably going to wrap this particular video up. I hope I'll be able to get out again before too long. And make another video fairly soon. So I'll say thank you very much for dropping by and taking a look, and I'll speak to you on the next one. Cheerio for now. Bye. Really should be a slip road on that exit.